Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be starting chapter number 8, which is computer programming. In this chapter, we will understand what computer programming is, why we are using computer programming, and what are the languages which we have for communicating with the computer. So basically, a computer program is a program is a set of specific set of ordered operations for a computer to perform. Means whenever we want to communicate with the user, with the computer, we need a language. For that language, it is known as a programming language. Let me just give you an example. Let's say there are two person and who want to communicate with each other. There are two person who want to communicate with each other. So there should be some language, whether it can be Hindi, English, German, French, whatever language they are having, right? There should be some language for communication. This is the communication between a man and a man, right? So we need a language. In the same way, if a person wants to communicate, if a person wants to communicate with the computer, with the machine, then we also need a language. That language is known as programming language. That language is known as programming language. So there are so many n number of programming languages available. For example, C, C++, Java, Python, Ruby, Perl. They are having lots of languages, just like your Hindi, English, French, all the things, right? So computer program is a human readable form which is known as a source code. जो computer program होता है आप उसको क्या बोलते हो? Source code. That is known as a source code. And what happens is it execute their into machine instructions. Means you all know that computer is a machine which understands only binary language, which understands only the value, two values which are known as 0 and 1, which are 0 and 1. But we humans are not compatible. We humans are not compatible with this kind of language. So for that, we made different languages and then converted those languages into machine languages. So computer programs क्या होते हैं? Human readable programs होते हैं जिसको आप बोलते हो source code, and then this source code needs to be converted into the machine instructions, into the machine instructions. Then moving ahead, these are this is some what coding looks like. Now, there are three types of languages. There are three types of computer languages. First is low level language, middle level language, and high level language. There are three types of languages. The first one, low level language. The example of low level language is machine language. Machine language means it is machine dependent, one thing. Second, it only uses 0 and 1 to make the instructions. To make any instructions, to take any input, to print any output, it only and only understands 0 and 1 language, which is known as binary language. Moving ahead, middle level language. Language, the example of it is assembly language. It uses mnemonic codes to create the instructions, and then the example of it is assembly language. Why this middle language came into picture? Because this low level language was very hard for us to understand. For human, it was very hard to understand. That is where this middle level language came into picture. Now the question arises why it was hard. Let's say if I'm saying, uh, if I talk about computer is a word, I want to write 5 plus 7. Okay, but this computer does not understand what is 5, what is plus, what is 7. So what it does actually understand is it actually understand 1 0. So if I say the value of 5 is 1 0 1, the value of 7 is 1 1 1. So for us, it is very typical to learn the values, all the binary values. If I say what will be the value 1298, what will the value of 1298? So it will be a very tough job for us to learn all the binary values of all the characters. That is why this middle level language came into picture, which made a programmer easier to code. Assembly language was there, but still there were so many drawbacks. There were so many uh, limitations using assembly language or middle level language. Then next language came into picture, which is known as high level languages. It is just, you can relate with the example of versions. Earlier you were having keypad phones, right? Then Chinese phones came into picture, then Android phones came into picture. Why they are coming? It is day by day advancing, day by day upgrading. So first low level language was there, then middle level language, and then last was high level language. It was more of similar like human language, like I'm speaking English right now. So it is more of similar to those kind of languages only. Examples are COBOL, Fortran, Basic, C, C++, Java, Python. So many languages are available. Right. Moving ahead now. What do you understand by assembly language? So assembly language is a low level language, or we can say it is a middle level language, which uses microprocessor and basically used for microprocessors and other programming devices. It only understand machine language ही understand करता है, and machine language is too obscure and complex for us using the software development. That is why instead of using machine language, we went for low level language, or we can say middle level language. This assembly language is both kind of low level language as well as assembly language. Then what are the advantages of assembly language? It was easier to understand as compared to the machine language. If we compare it with machine language, so it was easier to locate and correct the errors. When we write something, when we do programming, so there are chances of getting errors. So it was very easy to find out the errors. It was modified easily. Now, what were the disadvantages? Just like machine language, it is also machine dependent. ये भी क्या थी? Machine dependent थी. Since it is a machine dependent, therefore the programmer should have the knowledge of the hardware also. It means because it was machine dependent, so that is where the programmer, the software developer should have the knowledge of both the things, hardware as well as the software. That was the major drawback of assembly language. Then what happened? High level languages came into picture. Now these languages are known as fourth generation language. What were the advantages? Very easy to learn, very machine independent, almost near to machine independent, require less time to write. Why? Because the syntaxes were more of like English syntaxes. That is why it was very easier for the programmer to write the code in this. Provide good documentation. All the details of the language has been given in proper documentation. Now, what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages, slow execution speed. This is so very obvious. Why? Because what is happening now? Programmers are writing the code in high level language, then it is converting into machine language. Why machine language? Because computer only understand machine language. So we have to convert your high level language into machine language. So it consumes a lot of time. That is why little slow in speed. And the last thing is it occupies more space in the memory. It occupies more space in the memory. These were the two drawbacks of machine high level language, but still we are using high level languages in current scenario. Example, there are some example available. COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, C++, Prolog, Java, .NET. All these are the examples of high-level languages. Now, translators. Talking about translators. So just imagine, let's say you are going out of the country, out of your country, let's say China. Okay, so there the common language, the mother language over there is Chinese, but you are not compatible with the Chinese language, right? You only can understand either English or Hindi. So if you try to communicate with the person, with Chinese person, so what will happen? You will not be able to understand anything what they will say, and they will not understand anything what you will say. So there should be some person, a translator basically, who converts, who translates your language into their language and vice versa, right? In the same way, since computer is a machine language, it only and only understands 0 and 1. So that is why to translate our high level language into machine language, there are translators. A translator is a programming language processor that converts a computer program from one language to another language. It takes a program written in source code and convert it into machine code. ये क्या करता है? High level languages के सारे programs को convert कर देता है in machine languages. So it is known as a translator. Again, it is a software only. Now we are having total three types of translators. One is assembler, then the second one is compiler, and the third one is interpreter. Assembler, compiler, and interpreter. Now this word assembler is itself is saying that assembler is used to convert assembly language into binary language. It is used to convert assembly language into binary language. Okay, assembler. Talking about compiler and interpreter, what they do high level languages, they convert high level language into low level language, or we can say machine language. The same point, high level language, it converts into low level language. What it is interpreter. So basically, the job of interpreter and compiler is almost the same. Both the translators are converting high level languages into machine languages. But here, assembler is converting your assembly language into machine language, which is known as binary language. Now, what is the difference? Why we are using two translators for the same thing, compiler and interpreter? The reason behind that is compiler translate the whole program in one go, and interpreter translate the program line by line. It first convert the first line, then second line, then third line, then fourth, and so on. This is interpreter. बट कंपाइलर क्या करता है? वो पूरे के पूरे लाइन ऑफ कोड को एक बार में कन्वर्ट करके देता है. दिस इज अबाउट कंपाइलर. द ओनली डिफरेंस, दैट इज व्हाई कंपाइलर इज अ लिटिल स्लोअर in comparison to interpreter. Compiler is little slower in comparison to interpreter. Now moving ahead, when you are coding something, when you are making programs, so there are some rules, there are some predefined criteria which you should follow. The first one is algorithm and the second one is flowchart. After that, you make the program. So let's just understand all the things one by one. Algorithm means a process or a set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem solving operations, which means whenever, let's say you want to make a calculator, okay, you want to make a calculator, or we can say not calculator, you want to check whether a person is above 18 or not. So for that, what you need? First of all, you need the age of the people. You need the age. Then what you will do? You will check the age, whether the age is above 18 or not, right? After that, you will say that the person is above 18. So is he is eligible to vote. So what are the steps required to perform a task? That is known as an algorithm. Talking about flowchart is the graphical representation of your program. It is the graphical representation of your program. Then, moving ahead, there are some symbols of the flowchart. Here are some symbols of the flowchart. The first symbol is start and end points. This rectangle, or we can say this is not a rectangle, rounded rectangle, is used for starting and ending of the program. This complete rectangle is used for the variety of options to state or to execute, to read the values basically. Then this diamond is used for showing the decision. It is for the decision making. Then input and output is displayed in this parallelogram. And the last one, it shows you the flow of information. What are the flow of information? That we will study right now with the help of an example. Okay, let's just take an example one. Your task is to make a cup of tea. So what is the algorithm to make a cup of tea? Step number one, you take a tea bag out of the cup. Right? You take a tea bag out of the cup. Then step number two, you will boil the water. Step number three will be you put a tea bag in the cup. You will add a milk, pour the boiling water in the cup. Then next, fill the kettle, stir it, make it ready, add some sugar into this, and then take a cup and put the coffee or tea in that particular cup. So these are the total steps which are required to make a tea. So that is known as algorithm. What are the steps involved to make something, to do something, or to write something? Right. Now let's just have a look on the flow chart over here. So this is the complete flow chart. Now just have a look at the flow chart. What is happening around here is step number one, start. Start is in the rounded bracket. I told you start and stop are always in the rounded uh, squares. Then what are the steps? Step number one is what you are doing. You are boiling the water. Then you are putting the tea in the pot. Then you are adding the water. Wait until it is completely boiled. Now, there are two type of teas. One is with milk and one is without milk. दो type की tea होती है. So what you are doing, if you want to add a milk, if you want to add a milk means yes, then what you will do, you pour the milk into the cup. But if you don't want to add the milk, then what will happen? Pour the tea into the cup. After that come into sugar. Sugar भी optional होता है. Some people like sugar, some people do not like sugar. So if sugar is adding, if you want to add the sugar, then please add it. If you don't want to add the sugar, please drink it and stop it. This is the complete flow diagram to make a cup of tea. To make a cup of tea. Now there is one more algorithm and flow chart of printing the sum of two numbers. Printing the sum of two numbers. What is the first step? You will start. The second step is you will read or input two numbers. आपने दो numbers ले लिए A and B के अंदर. Now step number 3 is you will calculate the sum by adding sum is equals to A plus B and store the value in S. Step number 4 will be display or print the sum. And what is the step number 5? Step number 5 will be stop. Now let's just start with the flow chart. Start आपने किया and ending will remain same. You are taking input because you are taking input, so that is why it is a parallelogram. You are taking input, that is why it is a parallelogram. Okay. Now, what you are doing, you are making the calculations. Here, you are performing the calculations. That is why the symbol is rectangle. This time the symbol is rectangle. Here, we are taking input. So, input is always in parallelogram. Now, we are doing what? We are displaying the output in S. So, again, it will be a parallelogram because it is the output. This is the output. So, that is why it is in a parallelogram. Input A and B. In S, we are adding A plus